So just the opening up of this data here is going to be phenomenal as we kind of ingest more and more of it going forward. I mean, I think the other thing that's really great about the mass transit system for us is it's a great place to read the news as well.
That's good.
I'll answer the question, if that's okay, about services delay on top. I mean, I think subway riders of a certain stop and a certain line are a natural community, more than a lot of things in a neighborhood. And there have been a lot of existing projects that have leveraged that. So like Misconnections is one of the more interesting places to read on Craigslist, and it's usually about people waiting on subway platforms. And I just found out about an app called Submate, which intends to match people in a dating way based on what stop they ride. And those are kind of silly, but awesome. And I think you could take that a step further and build community tools that connect people based on the stop that they ride, the neighborhood that they care about. I see the same people on the subway every day. I probably recognize their faces better than a lot of other people in my neighborhood, whether it's communicating issues back to the transit system about performance or other kinds of needs, or connecting people in other ways.
Hi, my name is Ed Potter. Just a suggestion. I'm thinking we have so many smart, clever people here. And I understand things get rolled out, kind of slow because it's a monster system. But why not have the 2020 subway station, just one little stop somewhere way out in Brooklyn, and just throw in all this new great technology, just sort of like a World's Fair of what it should look like in the future. Just a suggestion, experiment, as that would be the lab to try out a lot of these new technologies.
I think the argument is whether it should be in Queens or Brooklyn now. Or Manhattan. All right, that borough counts too. Actually, one of the things I do want to get to is I love the point about the subways and our transit systems being a great place to read, consume media. What does it look like when we've got much more detailed information about transit in terms of how we connect through this system, right? Not just like what happens when you get in and out of the system, but if art in the subway in 10 years is that I've written a poem while waiting for the subway, and somebody else can pick it up with their device when they get there, what are the ways that your work kind of changes, assuming that we've got a richly connected information network, not just a transportation network? It's a real big open-ended question for you.
Well, let me try and answer, Joe, that I'm not sure is entirely responsive, but something I think about a lot. And it's an analogy between the transportation system and the business a lot of the people in this room are in. This system was essentially built in a kind of mainframe model, right? That everybody lived in lots of little communities and went to a big central processing unit that we call downtown. And the transportation system fundamentally serves the in and out to that downtown.
The subway is a series of tubes.
The subway, the series of tubes, exactly. Something you're familiar with. While that was happening and while it was declining and being rebuilt, as Jay said, the world changed. And we moved to a more networked model. And that happened in the economy too. And people stopped making all of their living going in and out of downtown, and they started moving around the town, around the region, from one place to the other. By the time we adapt to that, and this is the concern Jay mentioned because of the slowness of the way things work, by the time we adapt to that, the world will have moved on to a different model, right? Whether it's a cloud model or something that's a little more sophisticated as to how we all integrate and deal with each other. The challenge is going to be how we take a system that was built and is built and operates as essentially a mainframe of transportation and move through the networked model, which it's now not serving very well for no fault of our own. It was built for a different purpose. And into a world you're really referring to, Anil, where we're all going to connect in an entirely different way. And where the sense of community that people have is not going to be physical community anymore. It's going to be the communities that we all operate in, which are virtual communities, and that are communities built based on shared identification of interest and character. So this is going to be a pretty complicated transition. One of the things that's great about what Jay's trying to do is to involve the people who are working on that part of the world in taking a system that was built for this part of the world and beginning its adaptation. I don't think there's an answer, honestly, inside great public bureaucracies. They're not built for that. They're built to be risk averse. It is built in, the opportunity for change is in the people in this room who are incentivized to take risk and take chances and manage change. And that's what the openness Jay's talking about is going to be very helpful for.
It's pretty strong. Does anybody want to follow that up? All right, I think that's a tough act to follow. Jay, first of all, thank you so much for leading this effort, participating in the panel, and to all of our panelists, thank you very much.